Hey guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today I want to talk about journaling and more specifically a 30-day challenge to journal more that I gave myself roughly 30 days ago. I think it's actually like 28 days ago when I'm filming this video, but nevertheless we're going to talk about it. I first got a diary at the age of like 8 or 9. It's actually sitting in the bookshelf over there. It's a little pink Barbie diary. It's pretty adorable. It's one of those little diaries with like a little gold lock full of like spelling mistakes and odd grammar and the thoughts of 9-year-old Victoria, or whatever age I was. I'm pretty sure I was 9 or maybe 8, I don't know. After that was a very similar diary. It was a Coca-Cola bear diary. It was like black and it had the polar bear on there, maybe some other bears. I don't know what happened to that one, but I don't have it anymore, but I'm sure it had just like a couple entries in it and then I forgot about it. So that was kind of the end of my childhood diary journaling thing. It wasn't for me at that age. I would write stories and I did a lot of like artwork and that sort of stuff. I didn't start back up actually until I was 19 years old. I was spending a semester abroad in Thailand and I think I started journaling again because I thought I had something interesting or worthwhile to document. But thankfully, that was the start of a much more consistent journaling practice that I've had for the past 8 years. I go through phases of journaling in one way or another every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, to not journaling for a couple weeks or a couple months. Journaling has so many amazing benefits for me, and because of that, I have tried to make it a much more consistent part of my daily routine. Journaling allows me to just clear my mind, take what is in my head and put it onto a piece or several pieces of paper, which then helps me focus and think more clearly throughout the day. It is a way for me to work through things. Because I'm not very good about talking about my feelings and sharing my feelings with others, being able to write things down helps me work through them and make decisions or brainstorm stuff, come up with new ideas. It's basically free therapy for me. It is a great way to document my life and things that are happening. And because of this, I'm able to look back at where I was 5 years ago, how far I've come in just a couple of months, go back and read about a time that was really difficult, and I just love being able to look back. So I thought it would be a great challenge to see how consistent I could be with journaling over 30 days. And when I set this out, I set it out with the intention of just journaling like this sort of thing, but I'll get into that more. So I roughly started this challenge. I should have wrote it down, but I think around July 9th. So my actual journal, this one and my red one that I finished up, this is how consistent I was. I kept track of it. Out of the roughly 28 days, I wrote 13 journal entries. This might not seem like a lot and you're like, well, you don't write every day, but something else interesting happened pretty early on with journaling in just a normal journal. I found myself drawn to the other types of journals I keep that I had kind of fallen out of practice with. I'm going to be making a whole entire video about all of my journals, why I use them, how I use them, and all that jazz next month, I believe. So if you wanted to know any specifics of certain journals or if you have any questions, ask those down below for that video. But today I'm going to kind of just like briefly skim over them for the sake of keeping this short. One thing I started back up on that I'm so happy that I have is morning pages. I started that up on August 2nd and I've been doing it every single morning since, and it is something that is so beautiful about waking up, making a cup of coffee or whatever and sitting down with just this notebook and just letting it flow and just brain barfing everything. I have been so much clearer in my thinking process throughout the rest of the day. It's easier to focus. I've been able to think through things or think through what I need to do that day, and morning pages is something that I really recommend. I also decided that I wanted to get a separate notebook and start doing a gratitude journal. I have, in one way or another, had a pretty consistent daily gratitude practice, and most of the time it's just me and Michael asking each other at the end of the day, what are you grateful for today? And we do that really often. A couple years ago, I kept a mason jar, and every day I would write my sparkly bit and put it in that jar. I've written it down in like random notebooks or try to write it in like my regular journal, but I just really wanted a place to just write them down because it is so much fun to go back and look at what you were grateful for, and it reminds you of things that happened that you've forgotten about. I like to write letters to the universe, especially on the new moon. That's kind of my like new moon ritual. So I sat down on July 12th and I'm going to sit down again on August 11th. This is going to come out after that, but I know I'm going to do it. I'm already planning to do it this Saturday and write a letter to the universe. Sometimes I write it on my computer in my Evernote app, and sometimes I write it in a journal, but there's something about writing a letter to the universe, and I've talked about this before. If I can find a video or a blog post, I'll link that in the description box. But writing a letter to the universe is something that I really, really enjoy. One of the biggest things I've found with trying to add a new habit into your day is to find a specific time of the day to do it. For me, morning pages obviously is a morning thing for me. Other people like to do it at night, during the day or whatever, but morning pages are the first thing in the morning. I found that doing my gratitudes works best when I first get into bed. I keep my notebook for that right next to my bed, and as soon as I get into bed, before I do anything like read or look at social media, I will sit and I will write my 3 gratitudes for the day, and I've been super consistent with that. I've done that every single day since I got my notebook. And for like regular journaling, I have found that if something significant happens or I think of something I want to write about, I will write it during the day at some point, and I usually have it with me. I carry it around with me, and if not, I like to do it usually before dinner once the day has kind of happened, so I can kind of go through that day and think about it, and I enjoy that. How long have you been journaling? What different types of journals or journaling do you do? There's so many different ways you can do it. People keep like an art journal, like scrapbook, sketchbook. Yeah, there's just so many different ways to journal, and I think that is an awesome thing. And I love learning about how people journal and their different notebooks and what they use that for. And so that's why I'm going to be making a what kind of journals I use video in the future. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's content. And don't forget to subscribe to FemmeHead if you want to see more of me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!